Hello everyone and welcome back to Mach 1 Mindset. Today we're diving into AP European History 1.5, the New Monarchies. Before we get started, please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below if you have any questions. Let's get started. Today we're going to examine the rise of new monarchies between 1450 and 1648 and how they transformed Europe's political structure by centralizing power and weakening older medieval institutions. The term new monarchs refers to European rulers who strengthened royal authority during the late medieval and early modern periods. Unlike medieval kings, who relied heavily on feudal nobles and the Catholic Church, new monarchs worked to consolidate power directly under the state. This shift marked the decline of feudalism and laid the foundation for the modern secular nation-state. New monarchs centralized authority in several key ways. First, they limited the power of the feudal system. Medieval nobles, often called the nobles of the sword, derived their power from land ownership and military service. New monarchs weakened this group by reducing their political influence and bypassing them in decision-making. Instead, monarchs formed alliances with towns, merchants, and the emerging middle class. To further weaken the old nobility, monarchs created a new elite known as the nobles of the robe. These individuals gained noble titles through education, legal service, or by purchasing offices. Because of their status dependent on monarchy rather than land or military power, they were loyal to the crown. Selling titles also gave monarchs a reliable source of revenue. Second, new monarchs create centralized bureaucracies and systems of taxation. Rather than relying on feudal lords to govern the local regions, monarchs established professional councils, legal systems, and tax collectors who answered directly to the crown. Written laws replaced local customs, and regular taxation allowed kings to fund government operations without constant negotiation with nobles. Third, the new monarchs maintained standing armies funded by the state. In the medieval period, kings relied on nobles to supply troops during wartime. New monarchs replaced this system with permanent professional armies loyal to the crown. Cavalry declined in importance, while infantry and artillery became dominant. France under Charles VII was a leading example, creating one of the first modern standing armies in Europe. Fourth, new monarchs encouraged national identity. They promoted vernacular languages, standardized laws, and state propaganda to strengthen loyalty to the crown. People increasingly identified with state rather than with local lords or religious institutions. And finally, the new monarchs reduced the power of the Catholic Church within their kingdoms. While they remained Christian, they challenged papal authority by asserting control over the clergy, choice church appointments, and religious institutions. This separation of political authority from religious authority was a major step towards secular government. Spain, under name Ferdinand and Isabella, is a clear example of the new monarchy in action. Their marriage in 1469 unified Castile and Aragon and laid the foundation for a centralized Spanish state. They strengthened royal finances through taxation, excluded the nobles from the royal councils, and used Hermanides, a standing militia loyal to the crown, to maintain order. Ferdinand and Isabella also placed the church under royal control through agreements with the papacy. However, they went even further than most monarchs by using religion as a tool of state power. Through the Spanish Inquisition, they enforced religious uniformity by expelling the Jews in 1492 and Muslims in 1502. Religious unity was used to strengthen national identity and loyalty to the state. In England, the rise of the new monarchy followed with the Wars of Roses, a series of civil war between noble families. Henry VII of Tudor dynasty took the throne in 1485 and worked to restore stability. He eliminated the rival nobles, limited private armies, and strengthened royal courts. The Star Chamber was used to punish nobles who challenged royal authority. Henry VII also used diplomacy to strengthen England's position, arranging the marriage of his son, Henry VIII, to Catherine of Aragon of Spain. Henry VIII expanded royal power even further. Through the Acts of Supremacy in 1534, he broke from the Catholic Church and declared himself head of the Church of England. This move allowed the crown to control the church property, appointments, and doctrine, marking the beginning of the Anglican Reformation. The rise of the new monarchs contributed directly to the emergence of the modern secular state. Agreements such as the Contract of Bologna in 1516 gave the French king control over the church appointments. The Peace of Augsburg in 1555 recognized the right of rulers to choose their state's religion. The Edict of Nantes in 1598 granted limited religious tolerance while preserving royal authority. These developments reflected a major shift in political power. Authority increasingly rested with the state rather than the church or feudal elites. Centralized governments, professional armies, and bureaucracies replaced medieval systems. In conclusion, new monarchs transformed Europe by consolidating power, weakening feudalism, and reducing the influence of the Catholic Church. Their policies created stronger centralized states, set the stage for absolutism, the religious conflict, and the modern nation-state. This period marks a critical turning point for European political history.